Newly unsealed court documents put Bill Clinton on Jeff Epstein's pedophile island, creating a world of problems. Maybe for Hillary, certainly for the former president. Look, up to now, a lot of this was just speculation, right?
Right.
And then finally, we had a judge that had courage, and the judge says, you know what? This is coming in. We're going to unseat what's happened here. And now this story it's so credible. I mean, let's call her Jane Doe 3. Jane Doe 3 comes out and says, look, and this was years ago. Brad Edwards, who we followed, Brad Edwards is a friend. He's a great lawyer down in South Florida. He's been on this case forever. And he says this was going on a long time. Bill Clinton was one of the targets. Prince Andrew was one of the targets. Dershowitz was one of the targets. He mentioned the fact, even in this, that Maxwell met some of these people at Trump's palace down in South Florida.
Yeah. Well, also, I got to say, it's also a testament to Brad Edwards about how serious he takes the confidentiality, because we have had countless conversations with him.
I know.
And we have to learn this through the releasing of the docs. So good on him for having all these morals and ethics. But yeah, we now know, according to these documents, Bill Clinton would regularly be down there on Jeffrey Epstein's island. Jeffrey Epstein was a member of Mar-a-Lago, which the organization said he never was. But I think putting Bill Clinton on the island, especially at this point in a presidential race, I think that is really bad news for the Democratic Party, because this is the kind of figure normally you would want Bill Clinton going out there and campaigning, because he was liked. Hillary was not, but he was.
Yes.
This is toxic. This is poison.
How is corporate media handling? Are they giving play to the fact that it was Dershowitz, it was Bill Clinton, it was Prince Andrews, it was some of these other folks from Wall Street, some of these high rollers from Wall Street? Right. They're naming names. It was Trump. I mean, how are they handling it?
It's already gone. It's already gone. From the time they released these documents, it popped in the news and went away just as quickly. And that is what is so sick about this. And part of it is because, these are powerful people. And there's a lot more powerful people that have not yet been named. And I, honest to God, believe that there are plenty of people in media today who know about these things, probably because they were there, or they know someone who was, and they don't want to ruffle any feathers. They know eventually Ghislaine is going to start naming more names.
Well, she is.
And more documents are going to come out.
But at least at one point, people like Clinton and Dershowitz, they had some, they had an argument.
Right. I was just on his plane. We had to go to Africa.
Yeah, but this, Jane Doe 3 says, no, it wasn't just that. We were having orgies on the island. Bill Clinton was there with young girls. She didn't know their name. I saw him there. He was flying on Lolita Express. At what point do you say, damn it? I mean, just tell us the truth. I don't want to hear any more denials. Tell us the truth. It's like the same thing we went through with him before. I mean,
right.
in Trump's got to come forward and say, you know what? Yeah, Maxwell used to come to Mar-a-Lago. I mean, and not try to skirt around this issue.
Right. There's too many photographs of both Trump and Clinton with Epstein and Maxwell.
Yeah.
These were not casual acquaintances. They were friends.
Yeah, no question.
And as Epstein liked to say, Clinton owes him some favors, and we'd love to know why.
The Democratic Party is working on their platform for 2020, and so far they're voting, I almost can't say this, they're voting against popular proposals to appease their corporate donors. Give me the list, top of the list, to try to go after corporate donors on Wall Street. What does the platform say?
No Medicare for all, no legalized marijuana, which both of these are programs that are supported by nearly 2/3 of the public. I think legalizing marijuana is even higher. I think that's almost 3/4 of the country says, yes, do this. But Democrats, and they're framing it, by the way, as their appeal to the suburban housewife. Trump had his appeal.
Right.
Biden's doing his as, hey, listen, I'm not going to force you onto this health care. I'm not going to let your kids smoke weed. I'm not going to let anything different happen to your life. I'm the one who's going to preserve you. They always pander to the mythical suburban housewife. But what's really happening, as you said, this is the way to keep the donors happy, to let the donors know health care. We're not going to make you lose money because marijuana is legalized and people can use that as an effective treatment for so many things. That's what this is about.
Okay, so this is how it usually happens. We've been talking about this topic for so long. Democrats come out on social issues. They're good on gender. They're good on race. They're always out front on social issues. But what they always get away with, because nobody pays attention, is what they do to us on money issues. Like, look, you've got the vast public that says it's a good idea to have universal health care. We're one of the few nations in the world, we're one of the few industrial nations. We might be the only one, I'm not sure, but we're one of the few that don't have universal health care. Where you consider advanced industrial nation is what we would be considered.
Right.
So the Democrats come out and say, yeah, we don't want universal health care, right?
Yeah, the way I framed this when I had first talked about this was the fact that the Democrats came in not having any opposition. They didn't have opposition from the public. They didn't have to worry about an opposition party. They came in with nothing but themselves, and they still compromised. They compromised with nobody. There was nobody to make a deal with, and they still somehow lost the deal.
Okay, so listen here.
That's how weak they are.
They think they're ahead right now with Biden, right? And so that if you think you're ahead, why don't you go ahead and reach and do stuff that might actually move the ball for the American public? For example, on marijuana, 76% of Democrats, 76%, believe that marijuana should be legalized. But oh no, we can't do it. Why? Because Biden doesn't want to do that. That's one of his That's one of his pet peeves. I don't want to legalize marijuana. But I'm just always amazed at the lack of courage that Democrats are always willing to show when they know that if at any time this is the time when they can show it. Got 30 seconds. Why don't you wrap that up?
People like to say, well, the Democrats are going to fight back against Republicans. The Democrats won't even fight back against themselves. They are not strong enough to do this. They are not strong. They don't care enough to come out with a backbone and say, no, listen, this is the right thing. The public actually likes it. Democrats and Republicans alike. Let's do it.
Do you know how many Kool-Aid drinkers are going to come out and attack you for saying that? Because it's all tribal. They can't think outside that little tribal thing that the MSNBC delivers on the nightly programs. This is all they can think about. You want to say expand your thought process a little bit. Farron Cousins, thank you for joining me, okay?
Thank you.